Good morning, children. Let us discuss your sixth lesson from history about early kingdoms. So, in the previous lesson, you learned about the age of Vedas. Veda is nothing but knowledge, and how many types of Vedas we have? Four: Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajur Veda, and Atharvana Veda. Right? Now, in this lesson, we are going to learn about the early kingdoms. About 2500 years ago, big kingdoms developed in the Ganga Valley. Each had a well-defined territory and the government. Some of these kingdoms later grew into powerful empires. So if you take about 2500 years, a very big kingdoms have been developed near the Ganga Valley. Like the valley in the sense, the places or the region near the place where this river Ganga flows. And these kingdoms, they have slowly developed into powerful empires. Our main source of information about this period are the Vedic texts such as the Brahmanas and the Upanishads, and the Buddhist texts such as Jataka tales. They refer to the Janapadas and Mahajanapadas which existed in this period. What is the main source of information? That how do you know? Like, what is the information or the sources that says that there were early kingdoms and they become very powerful empires? So what are the sources? Mainly the Vedic text, the Upanishads and Jataka tales, Brahmanas and Janapadas and Mahajanapadas. So these are the sources that says or that gives the information about these early kingdoms. Now, Janapadas and Mahajanapadas. You have read earlier that the Aryans lived in villages. A person's life revolved around the tribe. A big change came about around this time. Iron began to be used on a much larger scale. The thick forest of the Ganga plains had not allowed expansion in this region. But now, iron tools helped people to clear the forest, where later bigger settlements developed. Now, in the early years, we learned like Aryans lived in the villages, and what like king they have Rajan who used to rule, and that rule is also limited. His rule is only limited, only to some extent. The Rajan used to rule the villages, like 2 to 3 villages grouped together he used to rule. Okay, and at that time they started using this iron on a much larger part. Why? Because near the Ganga plains you find thick forests are there. In order to clear away this thick forest, the people started using this iron. The small tribes of the earlier people gave away to large kingdoms. These territories came to be called Janapada. So whatever the small tribes are there, in the early period they have emerged into a large kingdom. So earlier small tribes they became very powerful and they emerged or they formed as a large kingdom, and they called as the Janapadas. The larger and powerful Janapadas are called as the Mahajanapadas. See, small towns or small tribals, they become bit powerful. They are called as the Janapadas. And who are Mahajanapadas? The powerful Janapadas are called as the Mahajanapadas. There were 16 Mahajanapadas in the Ganga Valley. So if you take 6th century, how many Mahajanapadas were there? 16. They were named after the ruling or the most important tribe in the area. So the name of that Mahajanapada was given, like they were named after the ruling or the most important existing tribe in that area. Each Mahajanapada had a capital. So the 16 Mahajanapadas has their capital city also. Huge walls of stone or brick were built around the city. This was perhaps to resist attacks by the neighboring kingdom. So how they have constructed the long walls with the stone and the brick in order to protect themselves from the attacks being done by the neighboring kingdoms. The Mahajanapadas were of two types. What are the types of Mahajanapadas? Republics and monarchies. Now, Republican Mahajanapada was ruled by a group elected by the common people. So, these republics are nothing but it's a Mahajanapada that is being formed or it is ruled by the group that is being elected by the common people. And in these republics, there was no king. Decisions were taken by the majority vote. The Sakyas and the Licchavis were the important republics. So there was no king. Since there were no king, whatever the decision has to be taken, they used to vote, and the majority of the people who vote to that particular decision, it was being taken. So republic is nothing but a Mahajanapada, wherein like it is formed by the group elected by the common people, and there is no king ruling this republics. Monarchy is nothing but, as the name suggests, monarch is nothing but a king. It's quite opposite to the republics. The monarchical Mahajanapadas were ruled by the kings. The king was very powerful. He had a large army and many sources of revenue. Obviously, king is very powerful because he has a large army and also sources of revenue. Kingship was hereditary. The king's son succeeded him to the throne. Like the kingship was hereditary. And suppose a king is dead, he was dead. Immediately his son will become the king. If suppose he is dead, immediately his son will become the king. So it is hereditary. Magadha, Vashta, Avanti and Kosala. These were the greatest of these kingdoms. Now, taxation. Large armies required more money. If they have large army, they need money for the survival. Therefore, kings began to collect taxes on the regular basis. They appointed officers to collect taxes from the people. So they started collecting the taxes from the common people, okay, in order for the survival or for the maintaining of this large army. Most people are farmers. Obviously, in olden days, you find more number of the people are farmers. So agriculture was the main source of revenue. Since most of the people are the farmers, the agriculture or the tax they used to collect it from the agriculture became the main source of revenue. The farmers gave 1/6 of their produce to the king. This was called bhaga or share of the produce. So whatever the 1/6 of the total crop they got it, they used to give it to the kings, and that is called as the bhaga or share of the produce. During this time, the farmers began to produce more from their land. This was because of two factors. So at that time, the farmers started producing more and more, and it's like agriculture was very much happened because of two factors. So what are those? First, the iron plough came into use, and it was an improvement over the wooden plough. In the olden days, they used to plough the land with the help of wooden plough. But as the days are passing by, they started, the iron plough came into existence, and also we learned like the people near the Ganga Valley, they used iron in more quantity in order to clear away the thick forest. So like that, usage of iron plough came into existence instead of the wooden plough. And second, the practice of transplanting paddy, that is growing saplings separately and then planting them in the fields, became common. So two factors have helped out for the production of rice, more production. One is like iron plough. The usage of iron plough came into existence than the wooden plough, and the other one is they started growing the saplings separately. And what, instead of sowing the seeds, what they did, they have started sowing the saplings, and they have started growing the saplings separately. After the saplings have been grown, those saplings they started putting in the agricultural fields. This ensured that many more plants survived and hence more grains were produced. So because of these two reasons, most of the plants were survived and more grains were produced. Increased production meant that the king got a greater share of the revenue. The more the production, the more the share. The less the production, the less the share. There were other sources of revenue also. But agriculture, the revenue from the agriculture was more when compared from the other sources. So what are those? Craftsmen such as carpenters, potters and weavers paid taxes either in cash or kind or by offering free service to the king. There were also taxes on buying and selling of goods. So craftsmen like carpenters or the potters, they also paid the taxes either in the form of money or by serving them. Suppose if they want to do it any like chair or whatever, if they want to do it, they used to give the free service. Instead of paying the tax, they used to serve the people in that kingdom. Trade introduced during this period due to the introduction of the money. Now trade has become trade or the business, it has become very popular during this period because of the introduction of the money. Until this time, trade had been carried through barter. Now coins of silver and copper began to be used. Now they started introducing the coins of silver and the copper. Otherwise there was barter system. Barter system ante ఒకటి ఇచ్చి దాని బదులు ఇంకొక good, exchanging the goods are nothing but the barter system. There was no money. Suppose if I give paddy to one country or paddy to one people, and they used to give in place of paddy, in return of paddy they give some handmade things or handicrafts. So like an exchange of goods has happened previously, that is called as the barter system. But once the money has been introduced and the new coins silver and copper started using, this led to the increase in trade. Inland trade was brisk. Goods were sent far and wide. Bimbisara, the king of Magadha, built roads and bridges throughout his empire. This encouraged trade. Besides land routes, trade was carried out through sea routes. The main articles traded were silk, muslin, perfumes and ivory. Now what happened, once he started getting the revenue, the king Bimbisara, the king of Magadha, he started constructing the roads and bridges throughout his empire, because of which the transportation became very easily and they started exporting or importing the goods to different places. And even beside the land road, since he started constructing the bridges also, the trade was carried out through sea routes also. And what are the main articles that traded? Silk, muslin, perfumes and ivory. Villages that grew in size became towns. Now the villages, once they started growing or increasing in number, they started forming towns. Towns again centers of trade and craftsmen. Towns became the main centers for the trade and for the craft. Sometimes artisans and craftsmen came together to work as a group. So instead of working individually, they started working together in the group. These places developed into towns. So slowly villages started developing into towns. Ujjaini, Vaishali, Ayodhya, Kaushambi, Tamrati and Champa were some important towns of this period. The people were grouped into varnas. So society, how the people were there in the early times, they are being grouped according to the varnas. There are 4 varnas. What are those? Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Sudras. So there were 4 varnas in the society. Who are those? Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Sudras. These varnas were decided on the basis of the birth. So how they have decided these 4 varnas? On the basis of the birth. This means that if a person was born in a Brahmin family, that person would automatically become a Brahmin. People of different varnas perform different tasks. The Brahmins were expected to teach the Vedas and perform religious rituals and sacrifices. So people of different varnas, we have 4 different varnas, they used to do 4 different tasks. If a person like the Brahmins, these Brahmins were expected to teach the Vedas. I said previously we have Veda Pathshala also. Instead of schools, they have Vedas. So there the Brahmins used to preach the Vedas. 108 or 1080 shlokas were there, wherein the student has to recite it. Okay, so the Brahmins were expected to teach Vedas and also to perform the religious ritual, pujas or whatever the sacrifices. The Kshatriyas were warriors and fought. Kshatriyas are nothing but the kings. They are warriors and they fought wars. And the Vaishyas were involved in trade and agriculture. So generally the people who involved in trade and agriculture are nothing but the Vaishyas. Only the first 3 varnas could study the Vedas and perform sacrifices. What are the first 3 varnas? Brahmins, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas. These 3 people used to study the Vedas and perform the sacrifices. The last class or the last varna, that is Shudras, had to serve the other 3 groups. So the people who serve these 3 varnas are nothing but the Shudras. In addition, there was another group of people people, the untouchables, who were even lower in the social rank than the Shudras. Untouchables అనేవాళ్ళు, అంటరాని వాళ్ళు అని. So this was another group of people used to exist in the society. The birth-based Varna system was disliked by the people of the lower Varnas. Over the time, the Varna system became more and more rigid, professions became hereditary, and there were separate rules for each Varna. So the people, the people who belong to the fourth Varna, they never liked like this segregation or racialism shown among the people. But as the days were passing on, the Varna system became more and more rigid and strong. The system became more and more strong, and there were separate rules framed for these different four Varnas. Magadha was a monarchy ruled by a king. During this period, it was most powerful Mahajanapada. This was due to many factors. So Magadha, it was ruled by a king, and it was the most powerful Mahajanapada. Why? Let us see. Magadha was located in the Gangetic Basin, where the soil was very fertile and yielded good harvest. Land tax was high, and it provided a large income for the kingdom. This enabled the kings to maintain a large army. So once this Magadha, it is like located near the Gangetic Basin, like where the river Ganga flows. Since river Ganga flows throughout the year, the land near this valley is completely fertile. If the land is fertile, agriculture can be done very easily. If the agriculture can be done very easily, production of paddy or rice will be more. If production is more, revenue will be more. If revenue is more, we can maintain the army very well. That was one of the reasons. The forest provided Magadha with timber and elephants. So the forest near that also provided timber and elephants. Timber was used to build houses, forts and chariots. Elephants were used in the army. Magadha had large deposits of iron ore. Iron was used to make agricultural implements, tools and weapons of war. So it has large deposits of iron. Also we have seen why these smaller villages or tribes made into powerful Janapadas or Mahajanapadas, because they started clearing away the forest and they made themselves modernized by using different types of weapons made of iron. Since the iron ore is existing more in Magadha, they have used that iron for making the agricultural implements and also tools and weapons of war. Magadha was protected by nature. The old capital of Rajagriha was surrounded by hills on all sides. Even Magadha was protected by nature also, because hills are a part of the nature. Magadha was surrounded by hills on all the sides, which protects the Magadha from the enemies. The new capital, Patliputra, which is now called as Patna, was situated along river Ganga. These were natural barriers against any attack of kingdom. Magadha had flourished trade with other regions. Profits from trade also helped the king to maintain a larger army. Now Magadha, completely throughout the year, if you have flourished trade, it means profitable trade. Flourished trade is nothing but profitable trade, and it made the king to maintain a large army. Magadha was ruled by very powerful kings. Who are the kings? Bimbisara, Ajatashatru and Mahapadmananda. So these are the three most powerful kings who ruled the kingdom Magadha. They always tried to expand these kings always tried to expand the territory of Magadha. Magadha remained powerful for hundreds of years. The Shishuhanga and the Nanda kings made the kingdom very strong. It continued to remain powerful under the rule of Mauryan kings. So during the Mauryan period itself, Magadha remained very powerful as they were extending their territory to other countries also. The Vajji Confederacy. The Vajjis were a confederacy of many clans, of whom the Licchavis were the most powerful. Their capital was Vaishali, in present day Bihar. So Vaishali is the previous old name and the present name is Bihar. You have read earlier in the lesson that the Licchavis were a republic. Two types were there, republics as well as monarchies. Monarchies is nothing but the Magadhi, and Licchavis are nothing but the republics. They were not ruled by a king. There were no king ruled the republics. Decisions were taken by the people themselves. For example, if a major decision had to be taken, people gathered and discussed what to be done. The Licchavi Republic remained independent for a long time. Finally, Ajatashatru conquered this Mahajanapada also. Slowly, this Licchavi has been conquered by the Mauryan king Ajatashatru. So this is about your lesson early kingdoms. Hope you understood the lesson, children. We'll meet in the next class with a new lesson. Thank you. And once you have, listening to this lesson, read the lesson carefully and you write only the objective types and the short answers only, children. If you are getting to write the long answers, try to attempt it, or else till short answers you can make them to write on your own. Okay? Thank you.